We have Grandmaster Anish Giri coming into the game with his second, Jan Smits. He's taking on Fabiano Caruana, who has a much bigger team with him. His girlfriend, his 2 seconds. Fabi looks focused. He's on 4.5 points here out of 8. So is Anish. They are both trailing Sindarov by 2 points, and both of them would be looking to win if they want to have any chances to become the champion here at the FIDE Candidates. The game starts off, and this, dear friends, is the ChessBase mobile app recap of the day. Download the app from the description. Pawn to e4 by Fabiano Caruana. Anish responds back with pawn to e5. And Fabi goes knight to f3, bringing his knight into the game. Knight to c6. It's very difficult for Anish to play for a win with black pieces against Fabi. But Fabi also has to take his chances, and it's very difficult to beat Anish in any format, especially classical one. Bishop c5 plays the Italian, and now castles here. Black will most likely get his knight out to f6. So the knight comes out, and we have pawn to d3. Black castles, inviting the move bishop g5. But knight comes out to d2. Knight bd2. We have pawn to d6. c3 played. And with c3, maybe there are ideas to expand with b4, a4. So Anish has a choice between a6 to make the square for the bishop or a5. He pushes his pawn to a5. And Caruana goes pawn to h3, stopping any pins, knight coming to g4, and we have bishop e6. A fighting move here, because if you take, f takes, doubled pawns, but the f file opens up. Caruana now kind of can make use of the pawn coming up to a5, and he does it with the move bishop b5. With this, you don't trade bishops. Bishop goes back to a7, and you may later on want to get your bishop from a4 to c2. Rook comes to e1. Ideally, the knight is going to switch from f1 to g3. We have knight e7 played. The knight can go to g6 and pawn to d4. So Fabi expands in the center very logically. Knight goes to g6. And he brings back the bishop to d3. If the knight jumps here, you can go back to c2. So Anish goes knight h5. He wants this knight to come here, the queen to move to f6. The bishop is already looking here. I always like such positions for black somehow. They seem very intuitive for black to play. Meanwhile, white, although the engines like it, it's not so simple. The knight jumps to f4, pressurizing g2 and h3 pawn, also putting pressure on the d3 bishop. Knight comes to g3. And here we have knight takes d3, taking the bishop, and Fabi takes queen takes d3. We have pawn to a4, clamping down the queen side a bit, the bishop looking here, and pawn to d5. Caruana kind of bites the bullet here. He pushes his pawn. Anish goes back bishop d7. I think a possibility here is to go bishop e3. But first he goes bishop g5, maybe to provoke the move f6. He plays it, and then he may want to come to e3. And the thing is, once you come to e3 and black does take it, yes, he plays it, then maybe taking with the queen or the rook may not be great because the knight would settle in on f4. So taking with the pawn may be the smartest thing to do. Fe3. He plays it. Pawn to e3. F takes e3. And b5 played here by Anish. We have pawn to b4, clamping down the queen side. And AB taken here, and queen to b8. Queen moves sideways and Caruana goes c4. Anish brings his queen to b6. He's simply slowly and steadily improving his position. Fabi gets knight f5. Now one way is to take and play knight e7, and this seems very equal. But rook e8 played. Anish is fighting on. He keeps the bishop. It can come in handy, although right now it's not so useful. Knight to h4, offering a trade of knights. And Anish declines it with pawn to b4. He gets up from the chair. With b4 he's created an advanced outpost for his rook on a3, and he makes use of it. Rook a3, an excellent move here. Fabi goes rook b1, and Anish gets the 7th rank with rook to a2. Queen d1. The position still looks very equal, very even. And now Anish decides to take the knight. Yeah, he goes towards it. He takes on h4. Knight takes h4. And maybe doubling down on the a file. Yes, he brings his rook to a8. Fabi tries to reduce the damage. He wants to trade the rooks. Queen a7 played. And rook c1. Maybe to play rook c2 here. Queen comes up to b6. Maybe they can repeat with rook b1. But Fabi comes back. He's fighting still. Anish also, I'm pretty sure, wants to fight and continue the game. Very calm move. Pawn to h6. And we have knight to e1 played. The knight would like to come to d3. And then maybe push the pawn to c5. King goes to h7. The problem with knight d3 is that maybe black goes c5. So he first takes on a2. Rook a2. Maybe now rook c2. But knight c2 played. Wow. That's a big inaccuracy, because now Anish finds an insanely good move. Bishop e8. He's actually getting the bishop here to attack the e4 pawn, and that's brilliant. Queen comes up to d3. And now bishop to g6. Excellent play here by Anish Giri. Rook a1, offering a trade of rooks. Maybe you want to avoid it. You want to keep your active rook. He takes. Knight takes. And is white closer to a draw here. c5. And Fabi does not take d takes c6. He had to take en passant. He goes king g3. And that's a huge error, because takes here, I'm pretty sure he was afraid of this, but knight c2, and then this pawn is weak, and the game could have opened up completely here. Even knight b4 directly. But instead, with king g3, now Anish goes queen a7. He takes the open file. Queen to b1. Now h5. Anish playing on all fronts. The bishop attacks in the center. The queen is looking at the queen side. The pawn is coming on the king side. He now fixes the pawns on the king side as well with h4. Excellent chess. And both players get up as they hit move 40. They have 30 extra minutes, but for Fabi this is actually a very sad position. He goes king g4. He's trying to win that pawn. Queen e7. What a wonderful move. I think Anish is going after Fabi's king, and queen d3 is a huge mistake, because now there is a very beautiful mating pattern that's coming in, which starts with the move f5 check. You can see Caruana is kind of disinterested in the game. Anish is thinking, I mean, anyway he was winning, but this one is like f5, ef. By the way, he's finding it. Let's see if he plays f5. Finds it. Beautiful move. Because if ef, not to start with e4 because there's queen f1, but to actually play king h6, and that leads to a very nice idea, which is that after fg6, king h6, fg6, e4 attacks the queen, and queen g5 mate cannot be prevented. So it's a forced mate there. King h6 played, beautiful move, and Fabi resigns. Anish Giri scores a tremendous win here. He played brilliant chess, I think, in the game, kept putting up the pressure bit by bit, did not give Caruana any chances, and he scores his second consecutive win here after beating Pragnananda, and now is just 1.5 points. Just is a little bit wrong here, but 1.5 points away from Sindarov with 5 rounds to go. Can the tournament be wide open? We'll see. But
all these years, ChessBase was a software that needed to be installed on your computer. But now, ChessBase has come up with a mobile app. It's called the ChessBase mobile app, and it is available both on Android and iPhone. With the app, you can now prepare against an opponent. You can get access to more than 11 million games in your database. You can create a new game, analyze it. The premium users get access to the fastest cloud engines, and then you can save your analysis. What's more is that the app is completely free. If you want to stay connected to serious chess preparation on the go, then the ChessBase mobile app is for you.